Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 44th episode of Vitals and Voices. I'm Lathika, and I'm the founder and host. Vitals and Voices shares different experience in healthcare from experienced and new mentors, professionals, and students. Please welcome our guest, Kevin.
Hello.
Kevin, thank you so much for being a part of this episode. It means so much to us that you'll be one of our guests today on Vitals and Voices. Feel free to kind of introduce yourself and share some things about yourself as well.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. I am honored to be on your podcast. So, my name is Kevin Nathanael. I am currently a PA student on my first year. And yeah, my I have several hobbies. I like to play pickleball, I like to hike and travel. And other than that, yeah, I am a aspiring PA in the process of PA school.
Sounds amazing. So, can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to go into healthcare and eventually take that route of going into PA school?
Yeah, for sure. So my route in going into healthcare is not very traditional. I actually only decided to go to PA school after I graduated college. So throughout college, I didn't really know what I was going to do. And I kind of like followed the crowd, if that makes sense. And because like when you're in college, like everything you know about the healthcare system is solely from a classroom setting, which is barely anything. So I didn't really know what it was like and had no experience with healthcare. So graduating high school, I mean, not high school, graduating college, I was still a bit like hesitant and unsure what I wanted to do. And so I knew some people that were doing PA and I decided to dig more into it. And so one of the requirements of PA school is that you need like thousands of hours or usually around 1,000 to 2,000 hours of clinical experience. So that was the part that like sparked my interest because I really wanted that experience and know what it's like to work in healthcare. And so it wasn't like a one day thing where it's like, oh, I want to be a PA. It was more like over time as I dove deep into the profession, I started to fall in love with the scope and what they contribute to the healthcare, being able to close that gap and the in shortage of providers. And I just love the pre-PA community as well. Everybody's very kind and helpful and supportive of each another.
I really love that. And I also have dreams and aspirations of becoming a PA as well. So, hopefully, everything goes well for you.
Very nice. Yeah. Good luck in your journey as well.
Thank you. So, how did your experience as a medical scribe, EMT, and wound care specialist shape your foundation to become a PA in the future?
Yeah, it definitely played a huge role in what I wanted to do and being able to be exposed to patients and spending time in the hospital. I started as a scribe in an outpatient setting, so I did like multiple departments and I just asked to they would float me to multiple specialties from oncology, vascular, general surgery. And I just kept asking like, oh, can you train me here and train me there? Because I just wanted to explore as much as I can. So being a scribe really exposed me to what it's like the healthcare system is and being able to see doctors and PAs interact with patients. And yeah, it gave me a lot of new knowledge about what it's like. And eventually I became an EMT because I wanted to expand my scope. And after I became an EMT, that really gave me a lot of knowledge when it comes to bedside interactions and dealing with patients and putting yourself in stressful situations. And yeah, it definitely contributed to my dreams to become a PA. And last year, I found a job as a wound care provider assistant where I also work alongside PAs and NPs. And that one was kind of random because I was just applying on Indeed for random jobs. And then I didn't even know what that was. And then they came back to me and they're like, oh, would you like to try it out? And I tried it out and it was pretty cool. So I rounded with like PAs, doctors to like facilities to help with treatment of like a lot of wounds, and we also did a lot of procedures. So that was pretty cool and unexpected. And yeah.
That's amazing. So, talking about exploring things and new specialties, are there any specialties you're currently interested in exploring and eventually doing that specialty after you graduate PA school?
Yeah, I get asked this question a lot and I actually don't know because that's one of the reasons why I chose PA because of their lateral mobility, being able to uh, switch specialties and work in very various fields, which I'm sure you know as well. And but if I had thinking about it right now, I guess like from my past experiences, like I was an EMT, so maybe emergency, or I could do wound care too. I know PAs work in wound care, or I just want something that currently in my state right now, uh, I'm interested in something that has a good balance of like being in the office and in the OR. So maybe something like ENT. I know ENT does that a lot, or yeah, just something that has a good balance. And I don't think I can do surgery full on. I don't have much experience right now. Maybe once I'm out in clinicals, then I'll be able to expose to it more. But I'm pretty open right now to what specialty I am able to see myself in.
That's amazing. And yeah, I could not imagine like doing surgery hands-on. Like I would need some kind of like experience and like additional help. Like, I'd be scared obviously, but
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So, what were some of the biggest challenges you kind of faced while applying to PA school, and how did you overcome them?
I would say my biggest challenge is that since, as I stated earlier, I decided to do the PR route after I graduated college. So by that time, I was like truly on my own. There wasn't like really any advisors helping me and or professors because I was just already out of college. And so it was very overwhelming at first trying to figure out my route, my plan and my journey. And my parents are also not really in healthcare, so they don't really know much about healthcare. And so that was the most challenging part, trying to like being a post grad and still a bit hesitant on what you want to do. But it took some time, and eventually I found a community of PA students and pre-PAs, and I found it really helpful. Like a lot of people are also in the same path as me, and they would also share tips and all that. And I was able to find a lot of PA mentors on my own. And eventually, slowly and surely, I built myself up, and one step at a time was able to get to where I am today.
I love that. So, how important do you think it is to practice empathy during stressful or high pressure clinical situations, like working in the emergency room, for example?
Yeah, I don't think I can if I can answer this question to my best because I'm not a PA yet and I don't work in the ER yet. But I would like being an EMT, I've been in a lot of stressful situations. And what I like to think about is sometimes like these patients, they're facing us not on their best days. A lot of times when we're facing these patients, they're in their lowest moments or probably the worst days of their life because and they're turning to us. So I try to keep have a I try to have a calm demeanor and just take some time to think if I need and trying to not to make decisions based on emotions. And it's still something that I try to learn, and I'm sure I'll face these situations again later on, whether it's in clinicals or later on when it's PA. But yeah, I guess the best way is to learn and put yourself in those situations. And when I first faced stressful situations like that, I also didn't do well. But over time, you learn to deal with it, and it's okay to make mistakes at first, like as a student or when you're before you're a PA. That's the best time to make mistakes. So you want to use those opportunities to learn from those who are have more experience and above you as well.
Definitely agree again.
Mhm.
So how do you see social media as being a responsible tool for mentorship and professional growth in healthcare settings?
Yeah, for sure. Once again, I don't think I would have made it into PA school if it wasn't for social media or the internet, because that was my main resources in asking for help and getting resources. And obviously, when I went to college, there wasn't much, I didn't have a lot of exposure to what PAs was. And I feel like social media plays a huge role in spreading awareness of what PAs are and also helping pre-PA students. And I myself, and you were able to find me through social media, and so that's awesome too. And so I hope through social media I can help other pre-PA students and raise awareness of the profession. And because people take things for granted sometimes, we don't often use the resources we have. We live in a generation where social media is very prominent and everybody has short attention spans and they go on social media all the time. So I feel like it'd be beneficial to use that to our advantage. And you could, there's a lot of resources in social media as well that you could use to help you.
Yep, definitely agree again. So looking into the future, how would you want to contribute to the awareness and growth of the PA profession in the future?
Uh, I would love to go abroad one day. And I know PAs are not very utilized outside of the US. And a few years ago, I went on this mission trip to Indonesia. And when I was telling people that I was trying to be a PA, nobody really understood what that was. Oh, what's a PA? I don't really know what that is because they don't really exist over there. And so through that experience, I was able to, spread information too, like educate them what PAs are and how they work in the healthcare system. And so I would love to do that one day, perhaps if there's opportunities for like mission trips or uh, abroad, like where PAs can be utilized. I would love to do that in hopes to help expand the profession itself as well to other reaches outside of the United States as well.
I love that. So I know in the beginning we talked a little bit about your hobbies, but do you have any other hobbies or any stress relieving techniques that kind of help you balance the stress of PA school, of course?
Not really. No, I'm just kidding. uh, Yeah, PA school is stressful, and a lot of people would say like you don't really have a life in PA school. I don't think that's true.
Mhm.
It's definitely possible to have a life and have some time, and it's definitely important. And yeah, I like to play pickleball. That's like the sport. I feel like that's growing a lot. Everybody's doing it. And I like to hike. I like to travel. I love going to national parks. I have this dream to visit all the national parks, but I don't know how doable that is right now with PA school. And yeah, I'm just very nature oriented, so I love doing all that. I love doing social media, making content, and like making videos. And it's a bit hard to recently with PA school, but I used to love making podcasts too. I did make podcasts and I tried doing that a bit in the past. And yeah, it's a lot of work too. But yeah, just I like trying a lot of new things to help relieve my stress.
It's amazing. So this might be a dumb question, but is like pickleball like kind of like similarly like the same to tennis? Like I've seen the courts, I just don't know how you play pickleball, like other than like just tossing the ball around. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very similar to tennis, similar to badminton too. I
Hmm.
don't know if you've played badminton. It's just like it has its own little niche rules, but like essentially it's like a smaller version of tennis or like a bigger version of table tennis. But it's a lot of fun. It's very like it's not too strenuous where you're like all worn out after, but it's very like still fun and it gets you moving. And I feel like it's very uh readily available to all ages. You see like little kids play all up to like a lot of older
Yeah.
people play as well, which is really
Mm.
fun.
Yeah. And I love playing badminton too. Yeah, it's just like a fun competitive sport.
Yeah, that one's a bit more strenuous. And whenever
Yeah.
I played, like my wrist after is just like 2 days old,
Yeah.
spasming. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And to wrap things up, do you have any advice to give to any of the listeners listening right now, hoping to kind of go into PA school or become a medical scribe or work in the EMT field?
Yeah, I guess I don't think this through at all, but I'm trying to think what advice I could give. But I guess the first thing that comes to mind is to find your community and don't be afraid to reach out to people. When I first started, I didn't really know anybody that was in the PA field. But eventually, like I made an Indeed and I would just message random PAs like, hey, can we get connected? And I had a lot of rejections, but one was enough. Like I had one or two that was like took me in and eventually they became a mentor and they helped me out. And the community is also really awesome with the PA community, especially. There's Reddit, there's Instagram, there's also a Facebook group called the Pre-PA Facebook group. I don't know if you've heard of it. And as well, that's where all it's like an open PA group where all the PAs, pre-PAs, and anybody interested are in. And so it's a huge group and people just post for help and advice. And yeah, I would post there. I remember I was posting that if I could have anybody read my personal statement, and then several PAs reached out like, oh yeah, just send it over. And so yeah, the community is very helpful if you look for it, and it can get overwhelming when you first start, but a lot of people are in the same journey, and if you take the effort to find those people, you won't feel as alone, and it will make things more less overwhelming, and you just have to take it one step at a time and celebrate the little wins along your journey as well to help you get through.
Definitely. And one more question. I just like thought of it like randomly. I know you talked a little bit about patient care hours, and some of our members were like reaching out to us and like kind of asked like because they were going towards the PA route. So I know you need like some kind of certifications to do certain like I would say careers like medical scribe, CNA, like did you need any certifications for, of course, medical scribe, ENT, like all the things that you've done before applying to PA school for those patient care hours?
Yeah, for medical scribing, you don't really need a certification. For most scribing jobs, they don't really need a certification. Usually, they take like people who are interested in pre-PA, pre-med. Usually, you just have to know some medical terminology. And before you start, they'll usually train you with all of that. So I didn't have any certifications for scribing. And for EMT, you do need a EMT certification. You can do a lot of things with an EMT certification that people don't realize.
Mhm.
And besides working the ambulance, you could be an ER tech. You can work in amusement parks too as a like an help aide with an EMT certification. You can work in concerts. You can be a dispatcher. So there's a lot of things you can do with an EMT certification. And my wound care job, that one was kind of random, but they were also taking in EMT people, so I got in with my EMT certification as well. But yeah, you just gotta do your research, and it's all out there in social media and the internet as well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you again so much, Kevin, for that advice as well. Thank you for sharing your incredible milestones and your past work experience. It was truly inspiring to hear about all that you've accomplished and about your goals in the future. To everyone tuning in, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Battles and Voices. Your engagement and loyalty means the world to us. If you enjoy this conversation, then be sure to follow, share, and stay tuned for more episodes on Battles and Voices. We'll see you next time.